So maybe you're stuck in this situation. You're trying to go for a clear, strong sound, but when you do so, your voice feels incredibly tense, your neck feels constricted, it doesn't feel comfortable in the throat. And so then naturally, as you might have been told on the internet, you try to relax your throat and you try to keep things easy. But then this happens, you relax your throat, but what comes out is breathy and it's weak. And so you start to get caught up in this cycle. When you try to sing clear and strong, it's tense, it's uncomfortable. When you try to sing relaxed and easy, the voice is breathy and weak. And so for today, I want to break this cycle. I want to share with you what's actually happening behind the scenes with the voice. And I want to share with you a very practical, a very easy exercise to help you start to navigate out of this challenge. Now, real quick, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ivan. I'm a voice teacher who works with students from all around the world over Zoom. And really on this channel, on this podcast, my goal is to make learning how to sing as easy and as simple as possible. So if that is up your lane, consider subscribing. If you're looking to improve your voice faster, I've got ways to work with me, links down in the description. Last but not least, if you want to inspire our next episode, let me know down in the comments below what you want me to talk about next. Anyway, let's dive in. Now, the first thing to understand here is getting a clear, strong sound comes from good vocal fold closure and also resonance. Now, the thing that might kind of be tripping you up though is good vocal fold closure does not feel the same as that squeeze in the throat. Instinctively, when we think stronger, clearer sound, we often think squeeze, grab, tighten a bit more. Now, this could result in two things. Number one, a constriction, a tightening of muscles that aren't really even used for the sound making process. And number two, when we start to over squeeze those vocal folds, we're pressing them really hard and we're not giving them sufficient airflow. Now, to fix this, of course, we can learn to relieve some of these bad habits. We can learn not to constrict on the throat. We can learn not to over squeeze those vocal folds. But what we can also do is we can focus on the good vocal fold closure, which is going to feel a bit more subtle than what you might be doing right now. The good news is this is something you can probably already do, which brings us to our exercise. So let's start here. Let's just find a place where you can already observe and already feel this good, easy vocal fold closure. Now, personally, I like starting with speech. See if you can find a clear speaking voice just like this. Hey, my name is... Right? You can kind of use that and you can finish off the phrase. But I want you to notice this, right? How is it that you're getting this clear and easy sound? It doesn't feel labored. It doesn't feel tight. It doesn't feel like this extra constriction in the throat. This should start to highlight for you the feeling of good closure, good connection of the chords is very, very different to that constriction, that tightness, that kind of grabbing of the throat that you usually feel. Now, if you're already noticing grip, this kind of tension when you're trying to speak, this is where I'll get you to start focusing and fixing this problem. Can you experiment here and find a way to get a clear, confident sound without that feeling of grip? Notice what you can relax to keep a sound and what you need to keep doing in order to achieve this. Now, once you can find this easy, good closure, the second step here is, can we introduce some pitch change without losing this feeling? And this is where we'll jump into a bit of a scale, a bit of a pattern. Step two sounds a bit like this. Hey, my name is Ivan. Ma, 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 ma. So all I've done here is I found that easy closure, just giving my brain a bit of a reference, and I try to keep that as I change pitch. Now, if you notice that you start to lose this kind of easy closure, or maybe things start to feel a bit harder, a bit tighter, a bit more like you're hitting a bit of a wall with your voice, then what this kind of tells me is, number one, maybe we just got to find that easy closure, do it a few times, see if you can kind of knock it out. Or number two, we're not engaging enough of the second fundamental of the voice, which is getting a good stretch of the voice, letting them thin out, which allows us to adjust for pitch. Sometimes a lack of this stretching, this thinning, can cause our voice to overcompensate with other muscles, including pressing on those chords a bit harder. Now, the topic of stretch, the topic of pitch adjustment is a whole nother topic in itself. So if you feel like this is something that you're feeling stuck with, I want you to remember this. Episode 129. After the end of this episode, I want you to go and check out that one. Now, if you can do this, all you got to do, just walk up the scale and see if you can kind of make this feeling a bit more automatic. This feeling of easy chord closure whilst you're changing pitches. Hey, my name is Ivan. Ma 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 ma. Anyway, that is all. This is a good way to start to distinguish what good, easy vocal fold closure, what that feels like as opposed to the constriction, the tensing, the squeezing of the throat. And then we also try to train it in with adjustment of pitch so that you can go up and down your range a bit more easier. Now, if you found this episode useful, all I ask is please share this episode with a friend or a family, or if you're listening here on the podcast, giving a 5-star. This would really mean the world to me, and it would help this podcast grow even bigger. Now, if you'd like to study with me, as I said, links are down in the description below. I'll see you next time. Take care.